Welcome back. In this part of the module, we will go through the reporting obligations, the reporting obligations for AFEMs and AIFs, MMFs, and some words on the UCITS reporting framework. So, starting with the AFMD reporting. The AFMD reporting is one of the main features of the AFMD. Which was aimed at enabling NCAs and ESMA to assess trends in the alternative fund industry and monitor financial stability. And as we have already seen in previous parts of this module, following the global financial crisis, it was very important for regulators to have more visibility on the underlying assets in which alternative investment funds were invested, so to increase transparency and promote financial stability by addressing AIF's opaqueness. The AFMD reporting also introduces harmonization. So it helped making significant steps in the direction of supervisory convergence. And the fact that we have a standard reporting framework implies also a uniform implementation of the rules. So starting with the frequency of the AFMD reporting. The Level 2 regulation specifies the frequency of the reporting, which may be required on a quarterly, semi-annual, or annual basis. And this depends on the various characteristics of the AIFM and the complexity of the AIF. So, for example, it should be taken into account the status of the manager, whether this has a passport to market its product in the EU or not, the value of the assets under management in the portfolio of the AIFs, which are managed by a given alternative investment fund manager, the use of leverage, and whether this is done on a substantial basis, the type of assets in which the AIFs invest. The requirements of the AFMD reporting. The reporting template is set out in Annex 4 of the regulation implementing the AFMD, which is Regulation 231 of 2013. This includes AFM specific information to be reported, a section which is dedicated to a detailed list of all the AIFs that are managed by the AFM, as well as some information which are specific to the AIF, the principal exposures and the main concentration of the AIF, information on its risk profile, and the results of the stress test. So the reporting template is a complete template, and it tackles the most important information regarding the manager and the fund. ESMA's work on the topic of AFMD reporting included issuing an opinion on the collection of information by NCAs under Article 25 AFMD, and also guidelines on AFMD reporting obligations, as well as a set of Q&As, questions and answers. The purpose of the guidelines on the AFMD reporting obligation is to ensure common, uniform and consistent application of the reporting obligations to national competent authorities. And the guidelines provide clarifications on the information that the AFMs must report to NCAs, as well as the timing of this reporting. Moving on with the MMF reporting. So first of all, the legal basis. As far as MMF reporting, money market funds reporting, Article 4 of the MMFR disciplines the register. This article provides that ESMA shall keep a central public register identifying each MMFs which are authorized under the regulation. So this register is populated with data submitted by NCAs and went live in Q2 2020. On the other hand, Article 37 of the MMFR specifies the information that shall be reported to the competent authority of the MMF. The database, among others, includes information on the type and the characteristics of the MMF, portfolio indicators such as NAV, maturity breakdown, liquidity and yield, information on the assets which are held in the portfolio and the liability of the MMF, and the results of the stress testing. And the MMFR also specifies that the information that shall be reported to competent authorities of the MMF should be reported on a quarterly basis. However, if the assets under management of the MMF do not exceed 100 million euro, the manager shall report to the competent authority at least on an annual basis. What about the template? The MMF reporting template is divided into two main sections. We have section A, which includes the general characteristics of the MMF. So the type of the fund, the portfolio indicators, the stress test, as well as other information on the assets held in the portfolio and on the liability. This section is applicable to all types of MMFs. Section B, on the other hand, is applicable only to LV and AV MMF, which are low volatility net asset value MMF, which are basically short-term MMF, primarily invested in money market instruments, deposits, and other short-term type of assets. The manager shall report information on every event in which the price of an asset valued by amortized cost methods deviates from the price valued by mark-to-market or mark-to-model valuations by more than 10 basis points. Every event in which the constant NAV deviates by more than 20 basis points with the valuation foreseen in the regulation, and the measures taken by the board in compliance with the weekly liquidity thresholds. Some words on the UCITS reporting. This is a very big difference compared to the FMD and to the MMF world, because there is currently no harmonized UCITS reporting at EU level, and data on the underlying assets of the UCITS are mostly collected at national level. This is one of the topics which is under discussion in the context of the FMD review, and the proposal is the one to implement a regulatory reporting under UCITS, which would be aligned as much as possible with the regulatory reporting which is currently in place by EU AFEMS. Under this proposal, which is still under discussion, UCITS management companies will be required to regularly report details of the markets and of the instrument in which they trade on behalf of the UCITS managed to their home EU member state, so to the competent, to the national competent authority. This is it for this module. Thank you very much for your attention.